I've got something I'd like to read to the board. Before I do, I'd like to ask a question if possible. It's based on information I was told, and I'm going to cover some of it in this reading. Ms. Stagan, did you guys vote at your county board meeting to hire an attorney for dissolution of the health board?
We voted to find out what had to be done because it had been discussed up here several times about the decision. We have not decided anything.
I wish Mr. Brucker was here because he's told some folks that Mr. Bowen has made it clear they're going to vote to dissolve it at the next meeting. And that's what I've been told by multiple sources. And again, he's not here, so I can't.
We're going to discuss it with the full board, yes, but I don't know what will be voted on.
Now, Mr. Brucker has shared with people that you guys are going to vote to dissolve it according to Rick Bowen.
Well, Mr. Brucker's not on the county board, Eleanor is.
Right, and
So,
that's why I'm asking.
I have not, I cannot tell you one way or the other because I do not know if it will be voted on or if it won't be voted on.
Okay. I'm going to read this, and I'm sure there's going to be folks that want to interject, however you folks want to deal with it. Dr. Ray, on March 21st, you sent an email correspondence to Doug Corbett, multiple board members of the Health Department, the Ford County Board Chairman Rick Bowen, and I quote, "I'm well beyond my tolerance of false accusations and claims of wrongdoing that are not substantiated. Have you made one phone call or one request to look at a single piece of evidence that we have uncovered?" The answer is no, you have not. Outside of asking me to transcribe a video, you have not had any communication with our organization. I was willing at the last meeting I attended to lay out on the table more evidence than most can digest, and it's all substantiated, substantiates the accusations and the claims of wrongdoing. No one wanted to see it. That's a problem. You also stated, "Sorry, just not used to being attacked when volunteering for the public." Volunteering means you don't get paid. Yet you and the other board members previously to the new Iroquois appointed members were all receiving pay in direct violation of the statute. Let's not confuse volunteering with violating the state statute you're bound to by receiving pay. You will also not find any authorization for this public body to feed itself during past meetings with our tax dollars. How would you suggest the public respond when board members allow the fleecing of our tax dollars with illegal activity? Ford County appointed board members held private meetings via email pertaining to Mr. Boyer sending a letter to our organization, and our FOIA for the authorization for that action resulted in no documents. However, now, after filing a formal complaint against Mr. Boyer with the State Disciplinary Board, a document has come to light that Mr. Corbett authorized him to send that letter. Yet another FOIA response that failed to disclose the documents we requested. Do you think before you spend money on an attorney, you might pick up the phone and ask to see the evidence of what we were reporting? That would have substantiated our claims of wrongdoing months ago. Iroquois County board members did contact us, several of them, and we met with them numerous times to lay out the facts, and that is a key reason we are here today with this mess. My FOIA of September 9th, and I wish Ms. Hagan would still be here, my FOIA of September 9th was met with a claim they could not access the records requested until September 11th. We are still waiting on that response to that FOIA as it has not been complied with, and the agreed upon delay has come and gone. What is this board going to do about that? In regards to HIPAA violations, this was directed to Mr. Brucker because I forwarded him a copy. Mr. Devine, I believe I forwarded you a copy as well of that. In regards to HIPAA violations, I provided the information that was provided to me through a FOIA request that clearly was yet another breach and was done directly by your former FOIA officer while she was still employed here. She hadn't resigned at that time. Is anyone investigating that issue of both state and federal laws being violated? Has anyone taken appropriate action to rectify that breach of a citizen's private information? And it wasn't just a name and an address. It was the complete medical procedures the person received. And Julie Clark sent that to me. I make no apology for the 9 months of effort that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt wrongdoing is rampant in this organization, contrary to the elaborate efforts attempting to claim otherwise. Efforts like those from Ted Jensen. Mr. Jensen, you should resign for the misrepresentations you made to the Ford County Board, as well as all the other less than open and honest actions performed by you behind the scenes with manipulations. There's 3 doctors that sit on this board, and I suspect they all know the law as it relates to prescription medications. When a licensed nurse receives such medications without a prescription, it is wrong, regardless of how they came into possession of it. If you're not sure of the law, please read your own policy manual that outlines no medications are to be given without prescription. Each one of those employees that accepted the Tamiflu violated the department's own policy. What is the consequence for violating the policies established for this health department? So far, it appears there are none. Many have claimed you can't get rid of a certain person because they are the only ones who can handle this or that. I assert that is yet another example of the problem in the organization. No organization should be so dependent on one person that it can't function without them. The priority should be to remove those violating the policies over and over. Ms. Hagan clearly was more concerned about how I knew they have regular computer backups than the fact the information is backed up. Contrary to her claim, it's not available or been deleted. She lied to you people, and allowing it to continue only emboldens her to continue with the deception. As the human resource person for this organization, her outburst on personal matters is yet another example of why she has no business in that capacity. She used my tax money to fund a private foundation, and nothing has been done about that. That's an illegal act. A foundation that reflects the address of the public body as their address, yet nothing has been done about it. The fact the funds got returned after we exposed it reflects she knew it was wrong, as did Mr. Corbett. As the person in charge of implementing the policies and procedures for this organization, according to her own resume, how is it that so many policies and procedures are ignored and violated, all while she is still employed? May I suggest that this laundry list of ignored policies might just be an indicator Ms. Hagan is failing at her job. Ms. Clark was party to multiple illegal and improper contracts and put money in her pocket in direct violation of the law, as well as your own policy, and you did nothing here. Nothing to her. She should have been fired. Now we find that the spouse of yet another employee, who was the grant supervisor according to records, single-handedly received just shy of $800,000 worth of business from the flood grant. Can anyone explain how that is even remotely legal? According to multiple sources, Dr. Brucker has been informed that Ford County is going to vote at their next meeting to dissolve this public body. I was going to ask him if that was true. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. I know there are some highly qualified people working in this organization who have nothing but their patient's interest at heart, and it's a sad day in this country when we can't fix the most basic of problems and let the healing of this organization begin. In less than 30 days of digging, this was in the Effingham County Health Department, we came up with the same basic issues, the same, almost a mirror image. And tonight, that board took action. That board removed that administrator. Tonight, they were fired. An interim administration has been put in place. It took less than 30 days, 28 days to be exact, from the first exposure of the problem. You folks have been dealing with major issues for over a year, and you still have not fired a single person. May I suggest resignations are in order for each of the Ford County appointed board members for breaching their fiduciary duty to the public, which was to protect our tax dollars. I yield my time.
I have a couple of comments as well. First of all, thank you to the people that work at the health department who have done a good job. I think that what was said by our county board chairman in Ford County was extremely out of line and was very unprofessional, but is as usual with that particular person. And until our Ford County board members choose to pick another person to be the president of the board, I think we're going to continue to have that kind of thing. I would encourage you all to think very hard about who is running that board and who is directing your actions, because it doesn't look very good. It's sad, and it makes me angry because it's my tax money too. As for the board members appointed by the Ford County Board that are here, I can only concur with what Mr. Allen says. You all have been the ones who were presiding over this board when all of these things have happened. The solar panels, the going to Indiana and spending money before you even found out if it was legal, the continuing waste of money that we don't even know what's going on until Mr. Colbus gets on the board and begins to look through these numbers. The complete willful ignorance of the report by Mr. Allen that had substantial information coming from your own department's records, from the Freedom of Information, the FOIAs, which also was mirrored at Ford County Board. Ford County Board, the comment that was made from one of the board members was, I don't see anything going on that's wrong there, and until we can see something that's wrong, we don't need to do anything. And there's clearly lots that has gone wrong. And I think it comes from bad decision making and from a decision of laissez-faire where you just don't pay any attention to what the administrators do. You are the board that's appointed for the oversight. That's why Mr. Colbus has gotten rid of the 4 people that were appointed originally on the board from the Bureau Court, because he didn't like their decision. And Mr. Jensen, you keep talking about how this board is supposed to be autonomous. That's not true. This board answers to the 2 counties. There has to be oversight of what you all have decided, because your autonomy has gotten us into this mess. And it's time that you get reeled in. So I would also ask that you all resign, because it's time to get it cleaned up. And obviously, the County Board of Ford will not cooperate for whatever reason. It's just absolutely stunning. And I am a trained observer of government. I'm a trained broadcast journalist. I spent 10 years watching government. It's one of the worst boards I've ever had to watch. And I hope that you will do the right thing and make some room for some new people with some new ideas, because this thinking out of the box is going to keep getting us in